Look around you. Chances are you're seeing it, touching it, or even wearing it. From the phone in your hand to the packaging of your food, plastic is everywhere. It's a material that has fundamentally reshaped our modern world, weaving itself into the very fabric of our daily lives. It's an invention that brought us incredible convenience, safety, and affordability. But where did this incredible, yet increasingly problematic substance actually come from? The story is more fascinating and complex than you might think. Before plastic, our world was built from different stuff. Natural materials dominated everything. If you wanted a billiard ball, you needed ivory, and that meant hunting elephants, a difficult and costly process. If you wanted a durable fabric, you relied on things like cotton or wool. There was a desperate need for a new material, something versatile, something cheap, and something abundant that didn't rely so heavily on finite natural resources. The world was hungry for innovation, for a substance that could be anything and everything, and that hunger was about to be satisfied. The story of plastic as we know it begins in the mid-19th century. An American inventor named John Wesley Hyatt was trying to win a prize for finding a substitute for ivory in billiard balls. In 1869, he created celluloid. This was a groundbreaking moment. It was one of the first plastics, and it potentially saved countless elephants from being hunted. Celluloid was a huge step forward, but it had a major flaw. It was highly flammable, which, as you can imagine, could lead to some pretty explosive situations. The real revolution came a few decades later. In 1907, a brilliant Belgian-American chemist named Baekeland was experimenting in his lab and developed something truly new, Bakelite. This was the world's first fully synthetic plastic made entirely from man-made molecules. Unlike celluloid, Bakelite was a game-changer. It was incredibly strong, it was heat-resistant, it didn't conduct electricity, and it could be molded into almost any shape imaginable. It was quickly hailed as the material of 1,000 uses. And it wasn't an exaggeration. Bakelite radios, telephones, and kitchenware soon became staples in households everywhere. The Second World War dramatically accelerated plastics development. It was a crucial material for the war effort, used for everything from helmet liners and parachute cords to airplane parts like cockpit canopies. But it was in the prosperous post-war boom of the 1950s and 60s that plastic truly conquered our daily lives. A whole family of new plastics emerged, like polyethylene, PVC, and nylon, each with unique properties. They promised a future of convenience, hygiene, and endless color. This was the age of Tupperware parties, brightly colored vinyl furniture, and disposable packaging that made life feel cleaner, easier, and more modern. Plastic was the symbol of a brighter, more colorful, and carefree future. For decades, plastic seemed like a miracle. It was cheap, it was durable, and it was everywhere. But its very strengths, the qualities that made it so desirable, began to reveal a much darker side. The dream was slowly turning into a global nightmare. The biggest problem? Disposal. Plastic doesn't biodegrade like paper or wood. It doesn't just disappear. Instead, it breaks down over hundreds of years into smaller and smaller pieces called microplastics. These tiny, often invisible particles are now found absolutely everywhere. They're in the deepest parts of our oceans, embedded in our soil, floating in the air we breathe, and have even infiltrated our food and drinking water. We are literally consuming the remnants of our own waste. For the environment, the consequences are devastating. You've seen the heartbreaking images. Marine animals choke on plastic bags they mistake for food, or they starve to death with stomachs full of plastic debris. Entire ecosystems, from remote Arctic ice to once pristine beaches, are being polluted at an alarming rate. On land, landfills are overflowing with plastic waste that will be there for generations. And when we try to get rid of it by burning it, we release toxic chemicals into the atmosphere, poisoning our air. And what about for humanity? The research is still ongoing, but the findings are deeply concerning. Microplastics are now being found in human organs, in our blood, and even in the placentas of newborn babies. Scientists are racing to understand the long-term health effects, but there are serious worries about everything from hormone disruption to other potential diseases. The material woman designed to make our lives better might be making us sick. So, what can we do? The problem is immense, and it can feel overwhelming. But the solution starts with awareness, and it grows with action from each and every one of us. It's not about feeling guilty, it's about feeling empowered to make a change. The first step is simple. We can choose to reduce our plastic consumption wherever possible. Say no to that plastic straw, bring your own coffee cup, or choose a product with less packaging. Then we can reuse items whenever we can. That plastic container can be washed and used again and again. And finally, we must recycle properly where facilities exist, making sure we know what our local system accepts. We can also support companies that are innovating with sustainable alternatives, like bioplastics or new packaging designs, and demand better policies from our leaders to manage waste and hold producers accountable. Plastic revolutionized our world, giving us a century of progress and convenience. But now it's time for us to revolutionize our relationship with plastic. The next chapter in this story isn't written yet, and we all have a pen in our hands. The future of our planet and of our own health depends on the choices we make today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video insightful, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe for more content that matters. Let's make a difference together.